Hello and welcome back to our introductory videos that kick off a series that we're going to be sharing with you on how to be your most creative and entrepreneurial self. These first few introductory videos, folks, are going to have a really very specific, that's my dog at my feet in the woods. These first introductory videos will have a very specific purpose, and I'm recruiting you. I'm recruiting you to the concept, the idea, the commitment that nothing is more important in your life than being your most creative and entrepreneurial self. Your most creatively entrepreneurial version of yourself is what you want to be, who you need to be. I mentioned in the first video that there's a couple of reasons. Let me break those reasons down a little bit. It's important in business. About 10 years ago, IBM did a survey of 1,500 CEOs from a number of industries, a great range of industries, and found that the number one employee quality that they value over all others are employees who can be creative. That the CEOs showed an appreciation that there's just an incredible complexity in our world. Everything's changing, everything's constantly changing. Most of those changes highly unpredictable, and that the only way you can navigate all the environments that you have to navigate to be successful in business, whether it's the marketplace, whether it's your own organization, is with a creative perspective, with a creative mindset and entrepreneurial behaviors. That's how you're going to be successful in business. That's what CEOs are looking for. LinkedIn, who surveys their own members for the last 3 years running, have identified creativity as the number one soft skill that leads to success in business. The traits that they identify as 2 through 5 in their 3-year surveys are concepts that we include in the concept of being creative, like being agile, being flexible, and being a good collaborator. We'll talk about those in this series. So business, lots of business justification for being your most creative self. But maybe even bigger than that is the fact that we are facing a future defined by, shaped by unknowable unknowns. When I work with people who are in their 20s and 30s and imagine them living all the way to the end of the century, it's just, it's just hard to imagine the amazing changes in life that they're going to see. So to prepare yourself for these unknowable unknowns, don't you have to be your most creative and entrepreneurial self so you can create advantage from whatever it is? Notice I didn't say take advantage. So you can create advantage from whatever it is you find there in the future, whatever in the future finds you. We'll talk in a later lesson about the importance of using creative entrepreneurial language when you can. And that's why I always make the distinction between taking advantage and creating advantage. One example of how the future is just going to be filled with unknowable unknowns, and the only way to prepare for that is to be your most creative and entrepreneurial self, is that there's a lot of folks who predict that even just in the next decade, in the 2030s, nearly 50% of the jobs that will make up our economy don't exist yet. They don't exist yet. So to prepare yourself for jobs that don't exist, I would think that we could conclude that being your most creative and entrepreneurial self is the way to do that. So I'm going to be recruiting you all throughout. I've warned you. I'm going to be recruiting you all throughout that intentionally committing yourself to being your most creative and entrepreneurial self is the way to go. I'll talk about how to act on those intentions and what happens when you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.